Warning: Alan and JJ Johnson are not professional comedians. During this program, you will be exposed to unfiltered dad jokes in their most potent and raw form, dads telling them to each other. Watching this video may lead to serious physical harm, including facepalm concussions, head-shaking whiplash, and uncontrollable groaning. Proceed at your own risk.
Hey YouTube, I'm Alan.
And I'm JJ.
And this is Two Dads and a Joke, where we bring you a 6-pack of dad jokes with just a shot of parenting advice. And so this week, JJ, I had a really amazing thing. So JJ and I are writers. I'm writing the Towers of Light series. And just last night at technically this morning at 12:30 a.m., I finished book 2, The Still Small Voice. And so to celebrate, I bought some high-dollar bubbly water.
There you go. That's awesome. That's such an awesome feeling when you finally get to the end. You're like, oh, I'm done.
Yes, there was a high level of accomplishment, and then I fell asleep. So
Is this the first draft or second draft or third draft?
No. This is it needs a copy edit, and it's out the door. So
nice.
I've got to have everything put together so I can get it out to all these reviewers and whatnot. And so currently the plan is July 24th. It will be in stores.
Excellent. So you're to the point to where you're just like, I'm almost done looking at this. I'm tired of looking at this.
Yes, and I got to get cranking on the next one. So but with all of that editing, I found a ton of writing-related dad jokes.
Oh, you gotta give them to me today.
Yeah, this one is in honor of our video editor / producer, because he really hates Comic Sans. That font. He says it's not allowed. So Comic Sans walked into a bar. Do you know what the bartender said?
I'm afraid to ask, but go ahead and tell me.
We don't serve your type here.
Ooh. Well,
you can't even talk now. That was so good.
Talk. It's just like that is like the cardinal sin of all fonts, right there. So I'm getting
it is, and it's actually in use on our website, so that's really good.
Yeah. So we wrapped up at the end of the year. We came in the new year, and a lot of people are giving the charity, and it dawned on me the other day. You know why crabs don't give the charity?
Why don't crabs give to charity?
Because they're shellfish.
Okay, that was
bad.
That was bad. So you got to have something better than that, though. Do you have some writer news for us?
I do have writer news for us. I have finished the second draft, and I believe I finished this after the last episode of Iggy and Oz, the Soda Pop Wars. So the second draft is done. My critique partners have gone all the way through it. And I'm moving into that stage where I'm ready to send it off to an editor. That book...
Oh, great.
Yeah, so start the editing. My editing is a little different than some people's, but that is scheduled for release, I'm hoping, in June, the Soda Pop Wars.
Okay, that'll be cool.
So
it's going to be an exciting summer for Two Dads and a Joke.
That's right, 2 releases, so...
2 releases. That's going to be great. And speaking of Two Dads and Joke, you don't have to just wait for our books to come out. We're putting out stuff all the time on social media at Two Dads and a Joke. And we also like to check other people's social media out. I had a little font joke there. I found a great one from Blakey Photo on Instagram. Blakey Photo on Instagram gave me a good one. It says, "Goodbye, alphabet soup. Hello, New Times ramen."
That was a good one.
Come on, you gotta like that one.
That was a good one.
Okay, maybe that was horrible.
We'll give him a shout out. I like that. So tonight's theme, we're talking a little bit about Proverbs, and yeah. So my dad gave me a lot of great advice when I was growing up, but sometimes I would do things and it would hurt, he'd just tell me to toughen up and stuff like that. And I always remember one thing that my dad taught me. He says, because, you know, when I was a kid, I got hit in the head with this can of diet soda, like this can of Diet Coke. And you know what my dad said to me?
What did he say?
He said, don't worry, it's a soft drink.
That is a good one. I like that one. That's great.
Got it.
You know yes, you got me. And you know what? That really reminds me of our website. Did you notice that our website has some bold and all caps words all over the place?
I
You know
haven't noticed. I guess I need to look at that.
Well, I think they make a real impact on our fans.
Okay.
Font joke, get it? Impact.
You're pulling out all the fonts, man. You get me going.
Yeah, and the best part is that soft drink made an impact too, I bet.
Yeah, I did.
So keeping with that impact, I think for me, we were one of the things that had probably one of the bigger impacts on me growing up, and as a father, really, is the Proverbs. Yeah. So in the Bible, the Proverbs are really, you know, Solomon's wisdom to his children, saying, "Hey, you need to know these things. These are important. This is like, you know, plans for your life you should be thinking about." And you know, Proverbs 1:7 says, "Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." So JJ, as you think about that proverb, how do you think that thought impacts you as a parent and what you might instill in your kids?
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that I've always found interesting about the Proverbs is, you know, fear of the Lord is mentioned over 18 different times in the Proverbs. So I've always found that interesting and some of the things. And I think sometimes when people hear the word fear, you know, they can take it in 100 different directions. Because when we think of the word fear, we obviously think of, ooh, I'm scared. But fear is really just to be, you know, reverent to God, just to stand in awe of who He is as an individual, just what He has done. And, you know, it's funny you brought this up because I have my Bible here. And, you know, basically it starts off, you know, this is kind of the theme of, that verse really kicks off the theme of what the entire Proverbs are all about. And, you know, it's reverence of God is the beginning of knowledge. And I had that note in my Bible. And that's one thing that we always got to remember is that just that, you know, when you look at everything that God has done through history, let's take the Israelites and everything He done for them. You know, this idea of fearing God is something that is, you know, it kind of drives us. We have to live our lives in a way where we understand and are in awe of who God is, because you can't know somebody and you can't learn or grow until you get to know somebody, is basically what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but you can't learn and grow until you get to know somebody, and that's really where it starts. And one of the best ways to understand who He is just to be in awe of who He is. And I think sometimes we kind of skate right past that, and we get caught up in the emotions, or, you know, we go to church, we get caught up in the lights and, you know, the music and the sound and debates and things like that. And really, worship is just coming and just being in awe of who He is. And it's difficult to kind of translate to somebody who doesn't understand that. But you know, I think back of everything that God has done in my life, and I'm just in awe of what He has done personally for me. So.
Yeah, and I gotta say, when I look at it from my point of view, the big thing is that he deserves awe and reverence, right? God is holy. God is just. And those are two words that don't get used a lot in popular, you know, discussion about God. Like, people were afraid to be in the sight or presence of God because they would be struck down from the sheer awesomeness. Like, we throw the word awesome around. We don't know what awesome means, right? The shepherds that saw the heavenly host when Jesus was born, bowed down to that because they couldn't handle it. And how much more holy is God than the angels? And so I think one of the big things for me in thinking through the Proverbs and how you communicate this truth to your children is while God loves you, he is also the awesome, holy, just judge of humanity. And so you can't take that relationship lightly. You can't get caught up in the idea that God is some warm, fuzzy teddy bear, because at the end of the day, he's also just and holy in those things. And so I think it's really important that you start with that fear of the Lord. That is, if you want to be wise, you need to really listen to what God has to say, what is in his word, what you're being told is in his word. And so I think that to me is the biggest bit of this is it's that, I better listen, right? Is where that fear comes in. And so, to kind of close this out a bit, I think, it's also, there's lots of people we listen to. My marketing specialist told me a lot of important things I need to listen to for my books. But one of them, can you guess what font she thought I should use to launch my book?
Oh, I'm afraid to ask.
Trebuchet.
What?
Trebuchet. Launch my book.
I get it. I don't know if I can finish that.
I think I broke you with all these font jokes. You can't stand it.
Font jokes. It's like, what? And to let y'all know, I have no idea what jokes Alan's going to tell me. And he has no idea, but we're pretty confident. And hey, Alan, my dad was a pretty confident guy too. And, I took him out to eat one time, and we went into this restaurant, and the hostess looked at us and she says, "Do you have reservations?" And you know what my dad said?
I have no idea.
He says, "No, I'm confident I want to eat here."
All right, folks. Well, this has been Alan.
I'm JJ.
And we'll catch you all next time.